Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Again, we come. It's the first Lunch and Learn for 2024. And so we come to another sizzling topic. We are starting out very hot. And our program today is how to transform your mind into a success mindset. So it's transforming into a success mindset. So we want to welcome you today as we dive into the power of mindset for achieving success in 2024. We explore, or we're going to be exploring, how cultivating this success mindset can actually be the key to unlocking your potential and reaching your goals. And so, join us and my two co hosts as we discuss these strategies and insights to help you to just be prepared for the year ahead. I have with me Dr. Janice Brooks, my erudite co host, who is a life strategist, a temperament coach, and also a member of the John Maxwell team of coaches and leaders and trainers. And she's also an author of Purpose. All right. So we also have Dr. Seaford Howell, who is a relationship master coach, a life coach, and also an author of several books on relationships, a veteran in that field and in that business. And he is with us today. He specializes in helping individuals, especially men, to tune up their relationships and to maximize the potential of relationships and to revive relationships that are dying and to keep those that are sizzling hot. And I am yours truly, Dr. Marcia Thomas, and I am a Christian leadership life coach and professional consultant. And I also am an author that wears many hats. I specialize in empowering Christian career professionals to be resilient, relevant, and to integrate their faith into becoming personally and professionally their best. And so today we look at transforming. And the first question I have that I want you to look at is success based on external achievements, or is it inward? Is it really an internal fulfillment? Is success based on external achievements, or is it an inward based project? Let's hear you first, Dr. Howell. As
I knew you were gonna come with me first.
All right, let me go before
No,
Dr.
no, I'm ready. I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm ready. It's an inside joke between me and Dr. Janice. Success to me is both an internal and an external term, and let me explain it to you. It can be external because people can look at you and see you as being successful, but you personally can feel unsuccessful. And so it can be external where people are looking on and you look like you have all of the criteria of success. But you internally, your mindset does not feel like you're living your complete goal. So for example, you have a lot of people in the entertainment industry. They have what is called success, but it is a form of success that is very shallow. It is money based and popularity based, but it's not purpose driven. And so you find a lot of entertainers, they turn to drugs, they turn to suicide and other things like that because what people see is not what they're feeling on the inside. And so the internal part of success begins with your mindset. Your mindset will define your thoughts. Your thoughts will define your emotions. Your emotions will define your vibration on the inside or how you operate. And that will define what type of magnet you become, because we're all magnets. You attract whatever is on the inside of you. And so if you have successful thoughts on the inside and you're going towards your purpose, then it can be both internal and external. But if you are doing, for example, you find that a lot of people, they might go to law school or medical school because their parents wanted them to get those careers. But once they become established, they drop out of those careers to go after a passion that they had, because the success that they had on the outside was not internalized to them. And so the money after a certain amount of time does not make it feel like they're being fulfilled. So they drop everything and turn towards something that gives them internal happiness. And it may not represent external happiness.
Very much so. I like that. And I want to just leave the thought right here that is resonating, that has been put up. It is success begins with the mind. So whether it is external or it is an internal fulfillment, it begins in the mind. Let's hear what you're saying, Dr. Brooks, and how you reconcile success being in the mind.
I am going to say ditto to that, what Dr. Howell said. And I'm going to sit on this scripture that says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but the end of it is destruction. Many times people will look and see what they believe is success based on what they see externally. But in essence, it has nothing to do with success. And so the greater question is, what was done to achieve what you call success? Was it morally right? Was it ethically right? Because if it didn't sit on any of those pillars, then I'm sorry to let you know that you're not successful. If it wasn't seated on the moral and the ethical aspect of life, sometimes something can be good or something can be right, but if it is not both, or more so morally and ethically right, then it is not success. And so when we come to any kind of intersection and thinking what success really is, I personally believe that we should take the path that is less traveled. And that's the path of ethically and morally correct success. And so,
my Lord.
and so for 2024 and beyond, I'm going to say, build your success, and it all starts in the mind, on anything that is morally and ethically right.
So in the final analysis, we are summing up. You start being successful in your mind, and that mind pulls you to want to do things right. And doing things right includes and cannot exclude at all being morally and ethically high and accountable. And I want to say, in that way, we cannot mix up external success with internal fulfillment, because success in that entirety, as it is viewed externally and internally, is really hinging on the foundation of significance. Significance is really serving others and impacting others with the gifts and talents that you have. And so you are only successful if persons can become disciples and witnesses of how you empower, motivate, and impact their lives. And that in turn gives you the internal fulfillment. So it starts from within. And so it is really a blend that is asking us to strike the balance between external achievements and internal fulfillment, and leaning more on the balance of internal fulfillment, because that is more sustainable and that is more motivating. And so I am now saying, what is the problem then? What are some of the challenges that people have to really, when they are trying to shift to a success mindset? What are some of the challenges that people really have when they are trying to shift to this success mindset, when they are trying to make the weight rest on internal fulfillment so they can actually become more significant and get the external alignment? What are the challenges that they face when they are trying to shift to this success mindset? Dr. Brooks?
All right, that's a great question, Dr. Marcy, again. And let me just take a minute to define in my own words what I believe what I really believe that a mindset is. I believe that a mindset is a mental attitude or some kind of disposition that will predetermine how each of us respond to and interpret different kinds of situations. I'm going to say it again, it's a mental attitude or a disposition that predetermine how every single one of us respond to and interpret different situations. So we will interpret situations in different ways, every single one of us. So the question is asked, Dr. Marcia, I believe the question you asked said, what are some common challenges? Everything starts and ends in the mind. And so whether you think you can, as Henry Ford says, or you think you can't, then you are just right. And so the challenges that people will face when they start to think about shifting their mindset is the first challenge is the inability to think differently from what you knew before. Because whether you know it or not, it is not an easy thing to change and do things differently from what you have been doing 20 years before, 50 years before, 40 years, and start to think differently. I give you an example. When children go to school, age 3 to 6, and when they come home, regardless of what their parents said, they said, teacher said. It's always what teacher says. So their mind is built and functioned around what teacher says. And that's what they hold on to. So the first challenge that people will have in trying to change their mindset, in trying to change or shift, is to let go of what they think they knew before. And I say think they knew before, and try now to learn what they need to learn. So it's an unlearn to relearn. And that process is not the easiest to do. I give you a quick example. Somebody who needs to let go and to be able to change their mindset, they have to be able to see the gain in what they're doing. For example, they have to be able to say, it is difficult, but I know I can do it. It's possible. They have to be able to, in other words, we used to say, make it happen. And when you're able to make something happen, you're able to see the possibilities rather than the impossibilities. And so I am sitting on that one point because everything revolves around that, Dr. Marcia.
Yes,
they have to be able to unlearn what they have already learned so that the mindset can be changed.
So you're saying, Dr. Brooks, that one of the serious challenges is a fixed mindset, sticking to what you know instead of trying to find something new. And so many of us have a fixed mindset. We are so concerned. And I think a fixed mindset is really attached to your comfort zone. And that's one of the challenges to not wanting to step out of your comfort zone. And so the fixed mindset is one, and not being willing to do something different or to change can also hinder you. Let's have two more from you, Dr. Howell. Two more.
Well, you know me, I always come with a story. So Bob Marley has a quote that I like, and I've quoted him several times on it. And he says, some people feel the rain while other people just get wet.
My Lord.
And it sounds like a simple thing to say, but how many things do we miss in life because of our mindset? We just get wet. A lot of people don't like rain, but I love rain. Why? Because rain washes away pollen, and I suffer from allergies. Rain brings life, and I love life. And I love the rain, especially in the Caribbean, when you hear the rain falling on those metal roofs. Oh man, it sounds like music, and it helps you go to sleep. But when you see a good shower, and if you are lucky enough to live close to where there's a pool of water, whether it's a lake, pond, river, ocean, or whatever, and you can see how hard the raindrops are just dropping on that water, on that body of water, there's something refreshing about it. And so the challenge that comes with change first is the fear of the unknown. Most people, like you all said, they feel comfortable. I know this. My brain has developed this pattern where I don't even need to think about what I'm going to do next. Now you're asking me to change what I'm comfortable with to achieve some type of outcome. And Tony Robbins says people are always making decisions based on pain or pleasure. And so is the amount of pleasure I'm going to get by being uncomfortable worth the change? And if your answer is no, most of the time we don't change. If the answer is yes, then we fight and struggle through to make new pathways in our brain to create change, because habits are hard to renew. If it took you 18 years to develop a habit, don't expect to break it in 2 weeks. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be a lot of fear involved. It's going to be a lot of uncertainty. And you got to surround yourself with people who are willing to help you fight through that and form new pathways within your brain. And so your mindset change determines how much you're willing to put into the struggle to move forward.
Excellent point. And I think we want to put on the screen, some people get wet, others feel the rain. Some people feel the rain, others get wet. And that is, I didn't know you were a Bob Marley fan. This is Bob Marley.
Yes. You know, I'm from the Caribbean. I mean, I have the accent, but
you know that he's one of our musical icons in Jamaica. And so that's a PowerPoint coming right there. And so we are saying some persons have the challenges of fearing change, the fixed mindset, they don't want to come out of their comfort zone. We are also looking at those who fear failure. They have a fear, they don't want to fail at it, so they don't want to try. They don't want to take calculated risks. They don't want to make informed decisions because they fear this failure, and so they are not able to get into the opportunities. They miss them, as you have said. There is also the fear of success. There are some persons who actually fear being successful, and so they make no attempt, and that in itself is very important. And the negative self-talk that we give ourselves to, because some of us are pessimistic in nature. We do not have an optimistic outlook. We do not believe that all will work in our favor, and so we hinder our success. And that mindset needs to be pulled and pushed forward. And so we must start feeling the rain and not just get wet.
Yes.
So which one are you doing is the question I'm asking. And that takes me to the next question. Can adopting a success mindset then lead to more confident decision making? Can adopting the success mindset lead to better decision making or more confident decision making? What are your thoughts on that, Dr. Howell?
Yes. The Bible talks about it a lot. Faith of a mustard seed can move mountains. And what is that but a success mindset? If you believe that you have overcome already, what are you willing to do? Or what won't you be willing to do? Stephen got stoned because of what he believed. Paul there's so many things that happened to Paul. Peter, I believe, got crucified upside down. But knowing that they had a chance at eternal life made the struggle worth it. They knew that they were going to get success in the end. And so the question is asked, what would you take on this year, 2024, if you knew that there was zero possibility of failure? Now, another way of putting that is this. If you have a success mindset and you will persevere, you start with motivation, you finish with grit. Because motivation is going to run out eventually. Motivation might get you started, but grit is determination when motivation runs out. So motivation is good. but you got to fight through it when you don't want to get up in the morning. You got to fight through it when everyone else is asleep and you're the only one up. You have to fight through it because you have a goal and a dream in the end. And so, to paraphrase it again, what would you do if you knew that success was imminent? Would you put the next foot forward? Would you, ignore the naysayers? Would you move further? Would you follow your values all the way to the end and get fulfillment? Or are you going to take the short route to success, which is the worldly way of success?
Yeah. So what would you do? That's the question. If you knew that nothing that you touch this year will fail, what would you do if you knew you will succeed no matter what in 2024? Think about it. What would you do? I know what I would do, and I know what I'm doing. So we just have to embrace that mindset. So let's go, Dr. Brooks. How does this success mindset make us more confident in our decision making? How does it really do that?
Thank you, Dr. Marcia. Again, Dr. Howell have really laid a great foundation. And when I think of the word adopting, as you had asked the question before, I think of accepting and embracing something. And the question, therefore, is, can accepting and embracing a success mindset lead me to be more confident decision making? I say yes and more yes. And these are a few ways. When you have a success mindset, you have a gratitude mindset. It means that you are thankful in everything. As the Bible says, in all things be thankful, because it is God's will concerning you. If you have that success mindset, you are confident. You are not looking over your shoulder every few minutes you walk. You are confident in what you're facing and you're going towards. If you have that success mindset, you are more creative, because you know that the creativeness doesn't come from just you. It comes from a deeper place of knowledge. And if you have that success mindset, you are more productive. You are no longer just a follower. You are a leader, because you know where you're heading. And so, Dr. Marcia, it's a yes, and more yes. When you adopt that success mindset in 2023 and beyond, you are better at your decision makings, because you have gratitude, you have confidence, you're more creative, you are more productive, you move like a leader and not a follower, and you are bound to succeed with all of that.
Very much so. And in summary, because those are such excellent points, what you're really saying together is that a success mindset makes you more successful, makes you more determined, makes you more confident, because you trust yourself, you accept yourself, you love yourself, you are leading yourself, you are taking risks unreservedly, calculatedly, because you are intentional and purposeful, and you have set goals that you know you can achieve, and you take the methods that are to achieve them. So that mindset in itself makes you so optimistic that you become more resilient and you become more open to change and embracing change, as Dr. Brooks has said, embracing opportunities, embracing mistakes, embracing failures. Because success mindset doesn't mean that you are not prone to make mistakes and to fail and not over deliver sometimes and not take too many risks. A success mindset makes you feel so invincible and strong that you are not afraid to take these risks. And so you are really gearing up yourself to succeed. And you are saying, no matter what, as Dr. Brooks has said there, I'm not quitting. No matter what, I will not quit, because if it doesn't happen today, it will happen some other day. So as we are moving in that frame, if it doesn't happen today, what are some of the practical steps that we can take, or the routines that we can take, or the habits that we need to reshape so that we can maintain this mindset for success? Are there any practices, routines, or habits that we can acquire? Or are there anything that we need to reshape so that we keep this success mindset when we are struggling and when the challenges come this year, as they will?
One of the people that I like to listen to their story, and I never get bored of hearing it, is Thomas Edison. This guy, he finally invented the light bulb. And they said to him, well, when you did it 1,000 times and you hadn't succeeded, what kept you going? And he said, well, I just discovered 999 ways it didn't work. So that was a positive mindset. Because if you think about it, most of us would have done it 10 times and moved on to the next thing. But it actually took him close to 2,000 times before he actually invented the light bulb. And so he did not have a defeatist attitude. He had a positive mindset and he had motivation, but then he followed up with true grit. A lot of us think that we have stick-to-itiveness power, but do we have that type of power that would do something 2,000 times because we know eventually we will be successful? So that's the question you ask yourself for 2024. How much is it worth to you? Is it worth continuing until you endure to the end? Because the Bible says he who endures to the end will get the crown.
Very much so.
Now, you ask, what are some of the steps that you need to do? The first thing you need to do is to do self-analysis. You have to analyze yourself to see what you're trying to do, what resources you have, and what help you need. Number two, you have to be aware of your limitations, but you also have to be aware of your strengths. And you play to your strengths and you get support for your limitations. So you surround yourself with high quality people. I'm bringing that in 2024, my high quality people. You know I love that term. And then you have to self-modify. So after you are aware of what needs to be done, you start to do, and then you modify all along the way. If it's not working, modify a little, modify a little. Don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. Modify, modify, modify. And then what you do after that is you self-validate. Why do you have to validate yourself? Because they're going to be people who are naysayers. They're going to be people who criticize you, who put you down, and who do not understand your vision. And they will try everything in their power to stop you, either because they're hating or they don't understand. So you have to motivate your own self. You have to validate your own self and do what is necessary. If you have to journal, if you have to stick in the Bible and pray to God, and you just keep people around you who will keep you motivated to keep pushing forward. Because a lot of times we're not successful because we're trying to do it alone. We're trying to be secretive. We don't want people to hold us accountable and say, hey, aren't you supposed to be doing this instead of watching? Aren't you supposed to be doing this instead of out here partying? And then now we got to go back home and stick to our goals. We fall short. Why? Because it's comfortable to do the same old, same old. And so you have to self-validate so that you will make sure that you keep that grit up until you endure to the end.
So we are saying, if your routines and practices are working against you, let them go. And you are saying, adopt the gratitude mindset. Have your journaling out there. Surround yourself with persons who have positive talk and will hold you accountable fearlessly and make you keep on your path. Have those persons around you, and also pay attention and focus on what you need to get done and not be distracted. A lot came out there, Dr. Howell. That is very important. And I'm learning so much today too, because sometimes it is just the cares and tears of life that keeps you, what would we say now, trapped, and keep you strangled. And so sometimes you have to pause, as Dr. Janice says, and look at what really matters at that particular moment. Because sometimes it's really the high quality people that get hit, and you have to be there for them, or they have to be there for you. And so there is that little dip and that little practice that the devil has of keeping you locked in problems, in disappointments, and in delays. But right there, in that disappointment and delay and the problem, what you are really saying is keep the journal, be grateful, but and never lose sight of your goal. You can get tired, but you are not to quit. Very good. Let us continue, Dr. Brooks, because this is getting really warm in here, and this is so beneficial. I hope our audience is benefiting from these nuggets that are so valuable that you can't pay for small amount of money for. Let's go, Dr. Brooks, with that.
Well, thank you so much. I like to come after Dr. Howell because he has laid such a powerful foundation each time. Because, and so, Dr. Marcia and my audience and Dr. Howell, I personally believe that if you are not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you are dying. And as such, we always have to have some kind of routine or habits that will keep us on the growth path, that will reshape our mindset for success. And we can't discount gratitude, because anywhere we go, we are going to find that gratitude is number one, is special. And so gratitude is the first one. We have to be grateful for everything that we have and the things that we have accomplished and the things that we will accomplish. And the other thing is we have to be happy for the success of others. If you can't be happy for others when they are successful, then you probably won't be even able to be happy for yourself. And that will cause you to have limited success. The other thing we have to do, and we're talking about habits or practices, we have to always try. It's not going to be there 100% because nobody's perfect, but we have to always try to maintain a positive attitude. How much are we willing to do, as Dr. Howell asked earlier, if we know that we will be successful? And I'm going to say a lot. How much are we willing to do if we don't have high expectation? And I'm going to say very little. So we have to give ourselves some abilities and the benefit of the doubt. And we have to notice how we think and how we act and even how we talk to ourselves. Is it positive or is it negative? We're talking about the habits and the practices to ensure that we maintain a success mindset and what these things will have, what impact they will have on us. And the last thing I want to say, Dr. Howell and Dr. Marcia, because everybody wants to go to heaven and nobody wants to die. And so we have to also remember that we have to be willing to be uncomfortable on that path. It's not always a bed of roses. Growth isn't pleasant at all times. And when we look at the tree and the plants, we will remember that. There will be discomfort as we develop ourselves. We're going to fail. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fall, but we get up back again. There's a song that we used to sing at church. It says, a saint is just a sinner who fell down and get back up. So even success can be uncomfortable. How uncomfortable are you willing to be in order to become successful? So we're talking about the habits.
We want to have that written down too, because that is so important, because the amount of success that we want is what we will reach for, and we will give ourselves those. If we have a habit, you're saying, of speaking negatively to ourselves and over our lives, we must now speak positively. We must nurture ourselves by speaking life into our situations, regardless of what they are. And you are also saying that we must set healthy boundaries. Our boundaries must be that we set a watch on ourselves so that we do not entertain certain thoughts, and we do not fear being uncomfortable when we are confronted by certain thoughts, because we want to negate those thoughts. We want to throw them away. We must have our journal also. That's what came out of this question. We must keep a gratitude journal. It doesn't have to be physical, but the Bible says in everything we must give thanks. We must be thankful for all circumstances because it will work for our good. And the next thing that we want to take away from this question, which is also very important, is that we want to be able to surround ourselves with positivity, whether we are speaking it or others are saying it to us. And we must visualize our goals and have them at the forefront of our minds. And we must be very mindful of where we are going and what are the distractions that will come upon us. We must also be able to manage stress. Don't take up what we can't manage, and let our word, we mean what we say and we say what we mean. And finally, we must really have good vibrations, meaning whenever we win, whether it is small or large, we must celebrate it. So we keep this mindset intact. And so I go to the two more questions, and one is this: how do I measure my success to see that I am transforming my mindset for success? How do I measure that progress? How do I know how far I've come or how far I've reached in that transformation of my mind into a success mindset? What are
Well,
strategies that we can use to measure where we are? Yes, Dr. Howell, we can start with you.
well, the first thing you can do is double back and look at your journal. A lot of times people say, you write down just the positive things in your journal. But if you practice writing down how you feel honestly in that journal, you should see a progression over a period of time. So, for example, if you are doing motivational speaking and the first time you get up, you stutter through the whole thing. And then the second time you get up and you stutter through half of it. And then the third time you get up, you stutter through a fourth of it and you want to give up. But then you look at your journal and you're like, hold up, I'm making progress. Eventually, I'm going to get up and don't stutter through any of it at all. And so look for the positives in stuff that you're doing, but also keep a conscious, accurate record of what is going on so that you can see when there are triggers, when there are days that are good. You can see the progress that's being made. And so the first thing you do, like I said, is do the journaling. The second thing that you can do, talk to your creator. He's going to guide you in the path that you need to go. And as long as he is guiding you, it might seem like you're not making any progress. And I did a presentation recently. It wasn't with you guys, but it was in one of the slides. I had a bamboo shoot, and they were saying that a bamboo shoot can stay buried for 4 to 5 years without showing any signs of growth. But once it starts to grow, a bamboo shoot can grow 4 to 5 feet in a day. But it takes a long time developing the root system, developing the skill set, developing all of the resources needed to amplify that growth when it's necessary. And so you may not see your growth right away, but if your creator is telling you, hey, you're going the path that I put you on, don't worry about anything else. I have your back covered. And one of the reasons why that's important, because your mindset makes a difference. If you look at the story with the rich young ruler and Zacchaeus, they were both rich people. God told one to sell everything, give it to the poor, and come and follow him broke. Zacchaeus, God didn't even have to tell him, Jesus didn't have to tell him anything. He was like, I'm going to give away half and I'm going to give back X amount of what I stole from people. His mindset was of repentance. His mindset was of growth. The rich young ruler, his mindset was on worldly, materialistic stuff. And so there was a whole different approach to how Jesus dealt with both of them. And so going back full circle, your mindset that you have should help you to decipher whether or not you're making progress or not. And your journals will be able to back it up. And then your creator will be able to confirm it.
So you're saying to measure your progress, you would have already asked for guidance and direction from your creator. And so
Yes.
you would record and you would keep looking and ticking off the ways in which he is leading you, the ways in which he has led you. You will also look at your goals, your SMART goals that you have written down, your timeline that you had put on those goals, and how you are going to achieve them, and you begin to tick them off. So you keep that journal. I want to also introduce that we keep a small wins and a big wins journal. Whenever you have a little big or a small win, you record it. And so you will all be able to see how many times you have bounced back from your setbacks and how you have actually done it, so that you can begin to record your best practices, what works for you. So you are able, Dr. Hall, as you said before, to identify, eliminate, or control and manage your triggers, because all of us have triggers, and these triggers come upon us at odd times, and they do not show up when we need them the least. They tend to want to push their ways into us to make us feel discouraged, disappointed, or to take steps back. And that's not what we want to do. So to measure our progress, we have to record the good and the bad, and we have to see how each and the part that each plays in our lives and how we are overcoming them. And those steps will help us. Yes, Dr. Brooks, let's hear your next set of steps.
I went away while you were talking. I went away into my thoughts right there for a minute. Excellent points. But as we come closer to the end of this program, Dr. Marcia, which our program is talking about transforming your mindset for success in 2024. I just want to pause here to say that the road that most people call success is actually a rat race. Because everyone is after one of two things, either after power or the mighty dollar. And so people continue to think that they are successful, or continue to say that they are successful, but there is no navigation system that is taking them anywhere. And this is why St. Paul says you have to be renewed, you have to be transformed by renewing your mind. And to the point of your question, I want to add that no athlete, no person who starts out in a race win the race by starting out. They win the race by finishing. That's when they win. But they also have to look back at where they're coming from to determine their win. They started out and they got to the finish line. So we have to keep our mistakes and our failures in proper context, because failure is going to be guaranteed no matter how often we start or try. And we have to learn from our mistakes and failures and keep moving ahead and keep trying again, because that in itself is success. That in itself, starting again and moving forward is in fact success. Dr. Howell just talked about the journal. You talked about it. When we are able to journal, we can see how many times we have started again. And I have to say this because Dr. Howell, you're always talking about the stories, but I have to tell this quick story about a team who was doing boat rowing, and the boat rowing competition was every 4 years, and they entered 3 years in a row, which would have been 12 years, and they lost, but they were determined to keep going. So they wanted to enter the 4th year. And so they decided that they are going to get a singular focus. They are going to, and their singular focus, they came up with this tagline that says, will it make the boat go faster? Will it make the boat go faster? So if they were going to eat dinner, they asked themselves, will this make the boat go faster? If they were going to the gym, they asked themselves the question. If they were going out to drink, they asked themselves, everything they did, they had a singular focus as to what will make the boat row faster. And so we can only imagine they kept that singular focus for the next 4 years. And we all know what happened. They won the rowing event because their focus was singular. And so the question for us today, what will be that singular focus for 2024? 2024
Very
and
much so.
beyond? What will help you to develop, to cultivate, to track, to progress, to transform your mindset in 2024? You all have to have a singular focus. What will
Very
that
much so.
My singular focus, St. Paul says, forgetting the things that are behind and pressing forward toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God. And so I'm asking myself, is this thing helping me to press forward for the prize of the high calling?
Very much so. Excellent point. And we want you to give us your wrap-up point, Dr. Howell. Give up your wrap-up point as you answer this question. What are the signs then that I am reverting to a less beneficial mindset? What are the signs that I am reverting to a less beneficial mindset? And you're going to wrap up your points and also give your final points in answering that question because we are running out of time.
All right, no problem. I'll talk quickly. I think Dr. Janice just summed it up quite a bit when she said, forgetting the things that are behind me while I'm moving forward. And that brings me to my first point, which is regret minimalization. If you have a lot of regret in your life, that is a sign that you're looking backwards, not forwards. And that will lead to you not achieving the goal you want to achieve. Secondly, if you're comparing yourself to others, that is a sign that you are not going in the direction that you need to be going in. If you have a lot of self-doubt, I mean, despite all the success that you're journaling and seeing, that is a sign that you are changing your mindset. If you are making decisions based on obligation and not based on your purpose or passion, that is a sign that you're moving backwards or changing back your mindset. Now, this right here is going to be one that people might say, hey, I'm not sure about that, Dr. Howell. If you are fixated on perfectionism, and I know in the Caribbean, I know of a lot of people who say, I'm a perfectionist. I just have to get everything done. You waste so much time trying to get everything 100%. All of the successful gurus tell you, get it to 80 to 85%, then move on. If you want it to 100, hire somebody else to do the rest of the 15%, but you move on to something else. There's no such thing as 100% in life, because as long as you're living, there's something to do. So you can never reach God's perfection, because God said all of your righteousness is like filthy rags. So our job is not to be a perfectionist. Our job is to do what God asked us to do and keep moving forward. Sometimes we're planting seeds, sometimes we're watering, sometimes we get to see the full seed mature. If God tell you to plant and move, you plant and move. Don't sit there and wait for the thing to come up. That may not be your road. So now you live in regret because you wanted to see the person develop because of ego, not because of God. And so you have to make sure that you stay focused. Like she said, Dr. Janice said, stay focused to one goal, which is to do God's will.
Yes, and that's a great way to wrap up. And as we wrap up, we want to remember that we must stay focused on the goal. If you knew that you would be succeeding in 2024, what is it that you would be doing? And notice how you think and how you talk to yourself. Is this talk positive or negative? And surround yourself with persons who are your support partners and who will fearlessly hold you and lovingly hold you accountable. And another thing that you must not do if you have a success mindset and must never revert to is self-doubt, negative self-talk, procrastination, comparing yourself with others and wanting to be perfect at all times. That is a no-no. Very great discussion today. And we want to end by saying that you can improve your brain in several ways. And so as you saw me, I sipped my lemonade. Lemonade can benefit you in several ways. And it contains high levels of potassium, which allows blood to flow into your brain so you can develop and maintain this success mindset. It also improves your brain function and also your mood. And so as we lunch and learn, don't forget to put your lemons together and have your nice cup of lemonade. God be with you all, and God bless you until Friday again when we go with another sizzling topic. And I'll see you as I just improve my brain by sipping my lemonade.
Doc, thank you so much, everyone. Dr. Marcia, what's in your lemonade? Is
It's
it
really
sugar
what we
and
call,
lemon?
in Jamaica, it's not lemon that I have in here, but what we call bugger lime. And so it is the large lemons, and we put a little honey in with a little water, and we add a little ginger because the ginger helps with your circulation. That's a perfect recipe for all those who want great body function and great brain function.
Thank you. That's a tip
All
of
right, so
the
I am
day.
Dr. Marcia Thomas Powell, your Christian leadership life coach and consultant, and also an author with a book, A Leader Like You, that helps you to improve your success by looking inward and outward, by remaining relevant, exemplary, and resilient. If you have not gotten a copy of that book, make sure you do if you want to succeed in 2024. Let's go with you, Dr. Howell, your take and your book, and then Dr. Brooks.
Well, I already gave my summary. Live a life with minimal regret. That's the one note I want to leave you on. And the book that I am pushing for 2024 is Creating Lasting Love: The 9 Pillars of Love. And it's on Amazon, and I do trainings with that book, private as well as group trainings, and I do marital retreats for people who want to fly me in for the weekend to do a retreat. I can do a retreat for you, and I'll turn it over to Dr. Brooks at this point in time.
Thank you so much again. To my two co-hosts, I'm Dr. Janice Brooks. I empower individuals and teams to step into their purpose and to succeed with confidence. And Dr. Marcia talked about her book, Dr. Howell. Look out, coming soon. 2 new books, but right now you need to hop over to Amazon and get Anchored by Purpose, Determination, Resilience, and the Will to Succeed.
Very much so. We are all on Amazon, and so you're going to anchor your purpose today and be successful. You're going to create your lasting love, and you're going to become the leader that you want to be in your home, in your life, and also in your profession. Have a great weekend, everyone, and God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm ending this session 2-1 out of